The tale of Yoseph in this week's parasha Vayeishev includes elements of tragedy, redemption, and ultimately triumph. His envious brothers, rather than kill him in anger, are convinced to sell him as a slave, leading him to Mitzrayim, Egypt. Only through a miracle of God, Hashem, his gift to interpret dreams, is he saved and made great in the eyes of the whole nation. One understanding of Yoseph's journey is that he was put through the ordeal of being sold into slavery as part of a divine plan that would allow him to be in a position to ultimately save his brothers, something Yoseph himself alludes to quite explicitly when he is reunited with them. The brothers are upset, feeling guilty for what they have put him through, but he calms them, assuring them that this was all part of God's plan. He says, Ki limchia shalachani Elohim lifnechem. For life, to save you, I was sent by God to be here in this place. Yet, I find this troubling. Would God really put Yoseph through so much suffering and danger just so that he would end up in a position to provide food for his family? There must be more to Yoseph's journey than simply being dragged along by destiny or fate. Yoseph's dreams, which all turn out to be true, identify him as a future leader, a great leader. But when we first meet Yoseph, he's far from leadership material. The first thing we see him do when he's a young boy is to spread lies about his brothers. Yoseph et dibatam ra'a el avihem. And Yoseph brings these wicked tales about his brothers to their father. He is a tattletale. Yoseph was spoiled and guided by his own ego, and so, Rashi explains, he was punished for each one of these lies. His coat was covered in blood from a slaughtered goat, when he had accused his brothers of eating an unslaughtered goat in an unkosher manner. Yoseph accused his brothers of treating their half-brothers like slaves, so he became a slave. And finally, after accusing them of acting immorally, Yoseph was put in a situation where Potiphar's wife tried to lure him into an inappropriate, immoral relationship. Though there's little evidence of these specific accusations in the text, they reflect the kind of person Yoseph is at this point, one who is more concerned with currying favor from their father and blaming others rather than putting others first. Measure for measure, mida keneged mida, Yoseph was punished by God for his bad qualities, but God was also with him every step of the way. Torah says, Hashem ito, v'asher hu ha'oseh Hashem matzliach. Hashem was with him, was with Yosef, and made him successful in everything he did. God wasn't trying to punish Yosef for punishment's sake. He was helping him, perhaps forcing him to recognize his own faults and flaws. Yosef could not lead a people that he could not empathize with. Yosef saw himself as above everyone, and only when he was forced to live at the lowest levels of society, rotting in jail, could he appreciate what he had and what a real leader needs to be. Someone who doesn't blame others for what happens, and someone who cares about what happens to even the lowliest among us. God could have easily saved our people with a miracle, ending the famine in any of a number of ways. Instead, God needed not only Yosef to grow into leadership, but to create a model, a dugma ishit for future generations, of someone who is able to fail, to pick themselves up from the depths of despair, and to learn how to become greater than they ever were. Moshe did this. King David did this. The Jewish people have been forced into this path time and again, but with God by our side, we can become stronger. We can rise to the challenges to become, through our own struggles, a great nation worthy of being a Kiddush Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.